This is Reviewer03, bringing you a review of Hellsing Ultimate, also known as the anime I really didn't like. Yeah, go ahead, crucify me. First of all, this anime is racist against Nazis and discriminating against zombies. The fact that they are crazy murderers or walking corpses who are trying to eat you alive doesn't make them less worth. They're people too, crazy and dead people, but still people, kind of. The second thing is that this anime is very gender confusing. I thought that this was a girl, but it's a boy. I thought that this was a man, but it's a woman. And why is everyone calling her sir? When I was in the army, we called our female officer ma'am. Her unofficial name was that fucking bitch slut cunt whore, behind closed doors of course. And no, that's not sexist, because you don't even want to know what we called our male officers. And why does everyone in the English dub of this show have to have an accent? Germans, accent. Irish, accent. British, accent. Italian, accent. Zombies, accent. I'm not a native speaker and I don't have an accent. Well, that's not entirely true. After watching my Evangelion review, user I can't remember his name wrote, "I liked your accent. Is it Canadian or Irish?" Yes, Canadian and Irish accents are very similar. Okay, let's get serious. Hellsing Ultimate is an anime about the Catholic Church and His Holiness the Emperor and their heroic efforts to protect Christianity from the greatest menace it ever faced. This menace invaded our lands, defiled our holiest cities, and even today they try to beat us through cheap tricks. Yeah, you guessed absolutely right. I'm talking about filthy Protestant bastards. Okay, really serious now. Hellsing Ultimate is set in Great Britain in the year 1999, and the story revolves around the century-old Hellsing organization and their battle against vampires, werewolves, zombies, and leprechauns. In recent weeks, Hellsing has recorded an unprecedented increase in vampire activity, and the investigation of these incidents reveals something rather shocking. The ones responsible for this are space Nazis. Nah, just kidding, because that would be ridiculous. The real people responsible for this are in fact vampire Nazis. Now that makes sense. During the last days of the Second World War, a secret organization called the Last Battalion was founded, and their job is to take revenge on Great Britain for being a pussy, and enlisting the help of half the world to beat Germany. Cheater. So the vampire Nazis want to destroy Great Britain, Hellsing wants to destroy the vampire Nazis, and the Catholic Church wants to destroy everyone. That's pretty much the story. Now, the things I liked about Hellsing were the action, the badass music, which is a combination of German classical and modern day music, and its originality. Come on, vampire Nazis and vampires with guns. You would never have thought of that. The animation is very unique and looks like a combination between anime and cartoon animation. I'm not sure how to classify this. It wasn't good or bad, it was just different. The things I didn't like is how inappropriately goofy the anime gets sometimes. I mean, it changes from gore, blood and massacre to this in just a few seconds. The second thing I didn't like is that this anime doesn't have a main character. One would think that the main character is Alucard, since he's the king of all vampires who kicks everyone's ass. But most of the time he follows just orders, and he's absent for a whole 3 out of 10 episodes. It's not Integra either, because the only thing she does is complain that she has to pay all the shit Alucard blows up, and all the funeral costs. It's not Father Anderson as well. He's just a Protestant-hating Irish guy who has yet to learn how to open doors properly. The fat Nazi doesn't qualify as the main character either, and it sure as hell isn't Sarah's. Okay, episodes 6 and 7 belong to her, but she's just everyone's bitch, and the story doesn't really revolve around her. That leaves only one person, Walter. I knew it, it's always the butler. And before someone asks me if I'm gonna do a review of the Hellsing anime, no I'm not, because it's basically the same thing as Hellsing Ultimate. The only difference is the worse animation, since the Hellsing anime was done a few years earlier, and the story doesn't stick to the manga. But the soundtrack and the action are as great as in Hellsing Ultimate, and it doesn't have those inappropriate goofy scenes in it. So if Hellsing Ultimate is 100, the Hellsing anime would be 85. The two reasons for this ranking would be the worse animation and a different story. Did I just do a review inside a review? Yes I did. Go ahead, crucify me. Now, the ranking. Hellsing Ultimate has great action, great music, it's interesting, original, dramatic, dark, and even funny. But it doesn't have a main character, no offense Walter. And these childish comedy scenes did really piss me off. And they overdid it with the gore, just a little. The series is also not completed yet. Currently 8 out of 10 episodes have been aired, and episode 9 will be released in February of this year. but since the anime sticks to the manga, it's not hard to guess what to expect. So it's 4.5 out of 5 points. Because of these comedy scenes, I hate them. You can't go from this to this in a few seconds, it simply doesn't fit.